E-L-O-E-J, a little aloha in our day. Spread a little aloha around the world at breakfast with Bob.
Thank you, Poncho Man. Welcome, everybody. Breakfast with Bob, not quite Kona edition. My name is Bob Babbitt. We are brought to you by Hoka One One, by Master Spas, Clash USA, UCAN Hyper Ice Premium Plus Sports, Form Smart Swim Goggles, and of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest, the Olympic gold medalist, Mr. Kristian Blummenfelt from Norway. Kristian, so excited for you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's really good to be back on your show. And it's going to be a really fun weekend of racing. Came here to St. George 2 days ago now, and we're looking through the course yesterday. And it's a pretty good course, challenging, rolling, tough conditions. And it's going to be an epic race.
It suits you well.
Yeah, I think it's a course that suits me well. Like, it's a strength-based kind of bike course with all the hills rolling up. I thought of kind of the main climb would be a little bit more steeper, but it's kind of you're just kind of rolling up and suddenly you're at the top. But I think the run course is kind of the toughest part of it. It's like never any sections are flat at all. It's either slightly uphill or you're just smashing it downhill into the transition or finish again. So it's a really tough course.
So I was watching some of the video, and I'd never seen anything when you guys were on your trainer, and it looked like it was a full room treadmill, right? It looked like a rolling carpet of treadmill. I've never seen anything like that. Is that new?
We've had it for maybe 6-7 years in Bergen. So it's like a 3x3 meters treadmill where you can go do like you can be like a group ride, or you can go for skiing or whatever you want. So it's we used it to work with like bike, do little simple bike fit before this. So I had like the VO2 master on to measure the oxygen intake and trying to find like a comfortable position where I felt strong, and also a little bit air as well.
So when we chatted before Nice 70.3, which seems forever ago, I was saying, gosh, you took 13th in Rio and that was great. And you were like, yeah, in Norway, if you're not on podium, if you don't get a medal, nobody really cares. So in the US, if you make the Olympics, that's great. But in Norway, because we have so many medalists, unless you come home with a medal, it doesn't matter. That was then. How have things changed now that you are the Olympic gold medalist?
Well, it's true. Like, if you want to stand out in Norway, you need to get that medal, or ideally the gold medal. So now it's obviously something we have been working for like 10 years since we started up with the youth national team back in 2009.
Yeah,
we had the 2020 Olympic Games in the mind, and we had like this long-term goal and support that either in Tokyo or in Paris as well. We had like, that's where when we're supposed to perform and supposed to win. So we've had this kind of long kind of belief in the program that and also in the end it were a gold medal that we were working towards. So it was a massive relief, not just for me, but like for the whole team. And everyone has been involved, because it has been 10 years of really hard, dedicating work, not just from my side, but from everyone.
So when you look at, like you said, 10 years ago, you guys targeted the 2020 games in Tokyo. This is where we're gonna medal. When you got on the team in 2016, did you look at it that it's a little bit of a bonus? I get to check this out, see what the Olympics is like. You know, maybe I'll have a great day and win something, but if not, the real goal is 2020.
Well, in 2016, like all my focus then were the 2016 games. Like, of course, I knew that I had the 2020 coming up 4 or 5 years later, but that year it was all about doing everything I could, and I was dreaming about getting a medal back then as well, but I think it just came like 1 year early. But it was a good experience to be in the game, and it just made me more hungry for performing in the next game.
Well, and then you really were on fire in 2017 and 18. You were how many different silver medals did you get? Montreal, Edmonton, Bermuda, Stockholm, and then did that again in Stockholm 2017. So did you come away from Rio going, okay, I'm on the right path here, and I think I can do something really great? Did you change things from after the Olympics to 2017 and 18? Because it seemed to be a huge growth for you.
Yeah, or I think it's a little bit of that kind of gradually going from being a junior to elite. So
yes.
Also back then I was last year as a junior in 2013, I got an injury, a stress fracture that took me out for 9 months from running. Yeah. And then when I was able to run again, the Olympic qualification has already started, because it starts like 2 years out from the games. So I always had like good progress year by year, but it's all just kind of the time that you need to climb through the rankings. And I did kind of win a World Cup or 2 World Cups in 2016 as well, and also being on the podium in Yokohama. So it's not like I've never been on the podium before 2017, right. But it's just kind of the consistency of being there more and more. So I think it just takes a bit of year to just get that foundation.
So one of obviously that 2018 year when you guys were in Bermuda and Casper wins it and you're second and Gustav's third, to me, that was sort of capsulized what you guys were working for, that we feel we can be a dominant country in this sport. And we just swept the podium, and, you did it again. You guys did it again when you won in Bahrain, right? Where you won and Gustav was second and Casper was third. Coming away from those two type of experiences, that had to be so special. Going back to 2009, basically it's 9-10 years of you guys working towards that goal.
Yeah, for sure. I think that has been some of the success in the team. The fact that we've been dreaming about getting to the top since we were like juniors, kind of training together. And I think that makes it easier to feel that when I'm performing, it's kind of it's on them as well, and vice versa. If they're winning, I can feel a little bit proud, because I know that I've been part of their success as well. So I think it also makes the kind of the level in the daily training to increase, because I get to see some of the best athletes in the world showing up to the practice every day that I'm doing. So if I have a little day off, like where I'm not 100%, I will be beaten up quite easily. So I always need to do the preparation right before the training, and to be able to perform.
Now, do you, Casper and Gustav, train together a lot?
Yeah, I would say so. We do all the camps together, and we're all from the same town in Norway, in Bergen. So we do like when we're home, we do all the swims together, and then casually meeting up for the track sessions or tough bike sessions or the longer ones. And then we do, for example, going into Tokyo, we were, I think, 7 months on training camps together in a row, because we didn't, like when I left in January, I was on the travel until the games together with them the whole time. So it's like the ones that I see the most.
And knowing how hot it was going to be in Tokyo, what did you guys do to train for the heat? Because it's everything from the equipment you're wearing to hydration to so many other factors.
Yeah, so I think after Rio, when we kind of changed our focus towards Tokyo, we immediately knew that it would be the heat would play like a thing in the race, and so we tried to understand the science and dig in there and get some experience. We went to Thailand a couple of times to get like the experience on the body and test out some different things, and so we were able to build up a good heat protocols and strategy for the race that we also did in the test event in 2019. where we
Yep.
first were like, did our heat acclimation there before the test event, and the plan was just to copy and paste basically for 2020. Unfortunately, wasn't able to do the same traveling because of the restrictions there.
Right.
So, but we just try to take all the sensors we're using and understand how it's impacting our body. And also, we've been working with like a lot of our partners. So, for example, we developed this new tri-suit with the new fabric to be able to deal with the heat better. So we use these kind of core sensors to measure like how well the different fabrics in the suit were impacting or running and cycling. So like standing on the start line and knowing that we are not just have done the training as good as we could, but also we have like the best equipment for the race. It's something that gives us a lot of confidence.
So the race itself, we had obviously the false start, which I don't think I've ever seen before, with a freaking yacht in the middle of the area. I'm like, someone could have dove into that thing and it had been a real problem. Now, were you one of the guys who dove in, or were you on the other side?
Yeah, well, I was on the right side. So I was diving in. And I think also like Felix Duchamp I think he was the one who was jumping in front of the boat and trying to kind of kick underneath, because that was could have been much more dangerous than it
Big time. Yeah.
So it was good that no one got injured there. But it was strange because I was like standing on the pontoon there, and I saw this. They're like saying like 1 minute to start, because then you could take off your ice vest. And then I still kind of saw the boat going just in front of me.
Yeah.
And you saw, I think one of the guys in the boat was kind of giving a signal to the guy who was driving, like, hey, come on, quick up. We need to get out of the way. Like probably someone was saying that it was maybe just a few seconds to the start. But he would just keep driving very slowly. And then I was thinking, okay, this is probably going to take another minute. And then a few seconds later, the start signal came. So I remember thinking like that was coming quickly, and probably the boat is still kind of over on the left side. But kind of you just dive in and go take it as it goes. And I wasn't too surprised when I saw the kayaking coming up and stopping the field and having to pull ourselves back and doing it another time.
That is so funny. So you pretty much led the chase pack on the bike to bridge back up. And once you were there, I'm sure you wanted to try to get rid of as many people as possible. Was there a point where you realized, okay, we're not going to be able to drop anybody else. We're going to be coming into transition together here?
Well, I didn't really try to drop anyone. It was more because I did expect it to be a 10K run race there, where I had to run away from Alex E, a guy who just put like over a minute on me in Leeds like a few weeks earlier. So I thought that I could run really well over 10K, but then so my plan for the race were not to spend too much energy on the bike, just trying to hide, waiting for that T2, make sure that we are coming even off the bike, and then getting onto that bell lap and just going from there. So on the bike, and also I knew that the first pack with the strong swimmers, they were probably lacking some bike power there.
Right.
Because especially with the lack of Alistair, they don't really have the kind of the same power in the front. So
that's a really good point, because Alistair was the guy yelling at people, right? And without him there, people just look at each other.
Yeah, so I felt like we had really good control on them, and kind of letting them kind of believing that they could break away for the first 20K is probably just putting some fatigue in their legs before the run. So I think I could have easily have reached up much earlier if I wanted to, but then again, what's the point if I don't want to keep pushing? So exactly. I was like sharing the work with maybe 4 or 5 guys in my pack, and halfway through we bridged up, and then from there on it was basically just sitting on Matthew Sharp's wheel and the Canadian, and trying to just stay up front and getting through the technical sections as safe as possible without crashing out. Because in 2019, I was in a really good shape, but I ended up crashing out of the race with like a lap and a half to go. I just wanted to be in a good position and coming off the bike safely.
So when you've had a recent race with someone like an Alex Yee, and he's put a lot of time into you on the run, in his mind, he's thinking, okay, not much changes in a month or so. He's not going to be running that much faster. I can outrun him. So he had to feel confident coming off the bike with you because he just outrun you. But at the same time, you knew you had saved a lot of energy on the bike. And it doesn't sound like you were intimidated by going against a guy who just put a lot of time into you in a 10K.
Well, yeah. Well, I also was able to run away from him in Yokohama. But then I think he had a little bit stomach issues. So I think he knew that there were more guys who could run well.
Yes.
But for me, it was in Leeds. It was more kind of a hamstring thing where I felt like I was more cramping up after the tough cycle. So I just did some changes there, and I think changing my position on the bike was helping me for Tokyo.
So when you're in a group like that, it is stifling hot out, and you don't want to be wait for a sprint with Alex Yee. The last thing you want is to see the blue carpet with Alex Yee still there. You got to get rid of him. But making a move with a K to go, that is a long sprint. That is a long sprint. I remember interviewing Jan Frodeno, and he talked about going into 2008. Every workout he did was based on winning the gold in Beijing, and he did a sprint, a 200-yard sprint at the end of every single workout, knowing it was going to come down to that. Was that type of thing where you knew, if I'm going to beat this guy, I've got to go early and take him a little by surprise, and then I've got to hold on?
Yeah, I don't really have the leg speed as you got for the last 200-300 meters. So normally what I do is that I go from 2K or 1,500 meters from the finish line. And that's something I do quite often in training. Like when we do these brick sessions, maybe 5 times bike to run, we'll do maybe 5-6 minutes on the bike and then running a 2K off the bike.
Right.
Often the last one is all out for the run. And I just try to kind of imagine myself running in a race there, sprinting as hard as I can for 2K. And I try to get into the same mindset in the race where I'm just going as fast as I can for, almost a mile. And it's kind of that tricky place of the race where I've been out for quite a long time, and it still feels like the finish line is far away.
So, it was far away.
I think it's a mentally a good place to go, because a lot of the competitors is kind of struggling as well, because it's a tough place to go.
Oh, so you're running 29:34 in that heat. And I was watching with a group from our Tri Club of San Diego. We had 100 people in a room, and you guys were all lined up, and everybody's like, when do you think that somebody's going to need to make a break? I'm like, now. And that's right when you took off. I'm like, and they're like, isn't that too early? I'm like, we'll find out. Was there a point where you wondered if you went too early?
Not after I got a gap. I tried with 2K to go, just to kind of starting to step up the pace. And then I think second time trying, I was actually a bit surprised that I got the gap already, because I thought that I had to try to break away another 3 or 4 times before getting that final gap. So I was a little bit surprised that oh wow, the gap.
Where are they?
It's in the Olympic Games, and I actually have 10 meters gap now, and then that's kind of giving me a boost of energy to just keep pushing up. That's kind of slightly uphill before doing the 180 degrees downhill again, and then just accelerating on the flat section before the pontoon again, or the and the blue carpet. So I was a little bit surprised that I got the gap on kind of my second try. So I thought it would be a much closer sprint for the gold.
So coming across that line and knowing that journey from 2009 to now, and it's one thing to say, okay, in 10 years we're going to go to the Olympics and we're going to win the Olympic, we're going to win an Olympic medal. But to actually do it, what was that feeling like for you?
It was a massive relief because, like as you said, we've been going out quite vocally and said, like, especially in Norwegian media, and said like, we can guarantee you that we will win that gold medal in Tokyo. So
that's a hell of a guarantee.
Yeah, like I said, like we had a journalist with us in Gold Coast in Nusa, and he asked like, yeah, but what place are you going to get in Tokyo? And we said like, yeah, we will guarantee you we will take that gold medal. So the headline was getting that, like, guaranteeing gold medal in Tokyo.
Right.
So I knew that kind of everything else than winning the race would kind of feel like it's something that would be scratching on my mind until Paris at least. And it's just a massive relief to actually do what we have said we would do. And of course, happiness and just happy for the team, because it's not just me who has been putting down all the work. It's been the team, like the coaches and the sponsors and everyone who has been involved.
So, I mean, really, you got first, Gustav got 8th, and Casper got 11th in the Olympic Games. 3 kids from the same town.
Yeah, from the same school as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's that's a fairy tale, right? That's something that Hollywood would go, okay, that's not real. We could never talk about that. We can't make a movie about that. But that happened. What is the feeling like in your hometown now when the 3 of you come back?
Well, it was really cool. Like, and also Bergen has never had any Olympic individual gold medals in the summer sports before. We got our first gold medal on the winter side 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So to also get the Olympic gold medal on the summer side was really cool for the city. And we also kind of, as athletes, we set ourselves new goals kind of after the race, and we wanted to win Hawaii as well. So we immediately kind of changed our focus, trying to, like, I had to first get ready for Frankfurt to qualify. So I had like a week of Ironman training there before I got the wild card. So I was focus again on the grand final. Yep. And it was really cool to be able to take the grand final and the World Series as well in the same year. And also it gives me more time to prepare for St. George, as the Kona has been postponed to February. So it's been really cool to take the Olympics and the World Championship title. And now hopefully I can add on another one this weekend.
Right. And how have things changed in Norway in terms of the awareness for triathlon? Because 3 of the best people in the world are from a small town in Norway.
Yeah, it's strange to see like how many who's been kind of seen the race and kind of know kind of what we did in Tokyo. Because normally when we race, like do a race and win something like in the World Series and come back home, like nobody has really seen what we've done. But now, like when I'm out for a run, maybe in the town, it can be like 3 or 4 people either like giving a thumbs up and saying, well done, congratulations, like supporting like on a normal training session. And it's really cool to see that so many has been aware of what we have done. And hopefully, like, the dream is to be able to get an event at home in Bergen. So they're working on it now to get something next year in downtown in Bergen, like they have in Bermuda and in Leeds. And that would be really special if it's possible to get a hometown race.
Well, that's what happened with the Brownlees, right? That Leeds came from Alistair and Johnny making that happen. So it was funny. People were saying, gosh, if Kristian goes to Kona and he hasn't done an Ironman before, how he's going to be a factor. I'm like, you guys, people sort of forget that when Luc van Lierde came over in 1996, he had never run a marathon. He had never done an Ironman. He was invited to come over because at that point you didn't have to qualify, and he set the course record. He broke the course record his first time out and ran a 241 or so marathon. So you guys do the long training. I can't imagine that you're intimidated by the 140.6 miles.
No, and I also think what a lot of people don't kind of understand is how much way into science, how much how professional training is, and I have a lot of support like from my team, and probably the best support that like there's no long distance athletes who is even near to have this kind of support to do the testing they do in the lab and the understanding there. So I think we have, even though I've never done an Ironman before, I think I have a really good kind of knowledge of how I can pace, how I can train, and how I can get fit for the race. And also we did a lot of heat preparation going into Tokyo. So
yes,
the heat should be fine. Like we show that we could perform really well there under the humid conditions. So I think the heat and humid is fine. And then we are known for doing a lot of volume. So I think the only issue is to learn to run slower. Like I need to run maybe 3:45 minutes for the case instead of 3 minutes, and do it for like 2.5 hours instead of 30 minutes. So it's just kind of be aware of that and kind of setting myself like pacing rules that don't go like 2:25 for the first K, because that's like just pacing and be clever, and nutrition as well. Do the nutrition.
So you win the gold, and hopefully this weekend you take a 70.3 title, which would be awesome. And then potentially in February, Ironman World Championship. Nobody has ever done like a triple like that. You know, basically this is a triple crown.
Yeah,
potentially Olympic gold and 70.3 gold and Kona gold. That would put you in a different stratosphere, my friend.
Yeah, so that's my big dream. So just crossing my fingers that they will be able to organize the event in February. Like it's still kind of unknown, but I will do my preparation. So the plan now is, because I have the extra time before Hawaii, I will actually put in one Ironman in Cozumel in end of November to get the experience. It's probably going to be a little bit warm and humid condition there, and take that as a learning process for Hawaii. Yeah.
So you would do that end of November, even if Ironman's happening in February.
Yeah, or for sure, it's good timing, I guess. Like it's a month and a half. I don't know, 2.5 months.
November. Yeah, it's early. I think it's February 5th. So not a lot. It's 2 months.
Yeah, so I think it's really good to get one race under the belt, and then go for Hawaii. So do some altitude before both Cozumel and Kona, and also the heat prep before each of the races. And I think it will be fine.
I love it. Hey, Kristian, I always enjoy our conversations. You are a bright light in our sport, my friend. Now, will the goal be Paris as well?
Yeah, so that's the plan. Like I have sub-7, the Phoenix sub-7 next year.
Yes, that's right.
And then I'm keen to, because I'm doing so much preparation for the sub-7, that why not just doing Hawaii again in October 2022? And then I will use 23 to get back into the Olympic rankings, do a lot of Super League races to get the speed in and the transitions in, and then giving it a go for Paris in 24 again.
Yeah, what's hard is that with it being 20, it's only a couple of years away. We would have been 2020. You would have had a 4-year buildup, but no, you've already lost a year.
Even the ranking starts next year.
Exactly.
So the ranking starts next year. So, but I think if I'm kind of in a good shape and being able to race well in 2023, it should be fine for getting inside the top 30 on the rankings.
Love it. Kristian, thank you so much for taking time. I always appreciate chatting with you. Good luck this Saturday at St. George. You're going to kill it, my friend.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Kristian Blummenfelt has been our guest, everybody. Gold medalist from Tokyo. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.